Welcome to Coruzant Technologies, home of the Digital Executive Podcast. Welcome to the Digital Executive. Today's guest is Vanessa Jupe. Vanessa Jupe is the CEO and founder of Leva. Leva marries a robust technology platform with human care to attract, support, and retain top talent as a benefit for employers. Leva is focused on creating positive change in how women experience the transition to motherhood and the difficult first year postpartum. Vanessa marries her product management and design background with business acumen and innovative thinking to challenge the status quo effectively. Previously, Vanessa served in senior leadership roles at an insurtech startup company, H&R Block, and USAA. Her leadership was instrumental in leveraging AI and process improvements to automate experiences and deliver substantial revenue growth. Well, good afternoon, Vanessa. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. This is so fun. And what's really cool, Vanessa, we talked a little bit about it, but I traverse the globe doing this podcast. But again, today I'm back in my hometown of Kansas City, virtually with a great guest like yourself here in Kansas City. So I appreciate you making the time. It's just awesome that we get to do this. And we'll definitely have to get together for coffee or something since I'm close. So yeah. Vanessa, I'm going to jump right into your first question here. Could you share the story behind the founding of Leva? What was the moment or insight that led you to focus on transforming the experience of motherhood and postpartum care through technology and human care?
Yeah, absolutely. I've always been a very driven person and try to learn things to help me advance in my career. I've always been a great student and had a really successful career in corporate America. And I approached motherhood much the same way. I sought out information. I read books. I met with wonderful experts, all to get prepared for being a mother. But I didn't realize that things could be difficult or go wrong. Of course, when you're a new mom, everyone jokes, oh, you're going to be tired. You're not going to be able to sleep. It's okay. Sleep while you're pregnant, that sort of thing. And I was prepared for that. But I had this plan that my kid was going to sleep in his own room from the first night. I thought that I would breastfeed just fine. And if anything went wrong, I'd be okay with switching him to formula, and that things would, I never even thought I would have any sort of career impact from becoming a mom. But you can probably imagine where this is going. None of what I thought was going to happen actually went the way that I thought it would. So my baby wanted to be with me 24/7. So he didn't end up sleeping in his own room until he was 4 months old. Nursing him did not go well at all. It was actually one of the most difficult things I've ever done in my life, as far as the stress of it and the pain, quite frankly. It was one of the most painful things ever. And he just was not gaining weight. So I went to so many specialists. I read so many articles, and nothing that we did, even though we tried lots of different interventions, lots of different lactation consultants, nothing ended up working. So I ended up having to pump for a year to give him breast milk for a year. And I was just shocked at how hard that was, and also not prepared for how much guilt and shame would come from that experience, or how much opinion there was on the internet around breastfeeding versus formula feeding. I think you and I are in the same generation, and I grew up formula fed and didn't think anything of it. But nowadays there's a lot of different opinions that make it really challenging to kind of navigate. So that was really shocking to me. And then when I went back to work, I was a junior executive at the time at a really great company. And I had been up for promotion right before I left to a really fabulous role. And when I got back from maternity leave, they had filled it with somebody outside the company, and I didn't have a chance to even interview for that. So a lot of different things kind of hit at once that were really challenging and hard. And I hated that was my experience as a new mom. And I really didn't want other moms to have to go through that, other women to go through that. And so, again, it was a passion of mine, but I kind of set it to the side because I was, again, focused on my career, focused on working my way up the ladder. I moved to Kansas City when my kid was a year old. And shortly thereafter, I moved here like late 2018. And as you know, in 2020, it hit. And so many people went home and started having babies. And so it was really that time where a bunch of my friends and coworkers started getting pregnant that I felt like I have to do something. And now is the time.
Thank you. I love the story. And, something always comes out of some sort of experience. And a lot of times it's not always positive, but I love the fact that you took something and you struggled with it. Obviously, you talked about your child and your child care, and going through that whole process was not what you thought. And then, of course, then it touches your career, right? And you lost out on an opportunity potentially because of, what you have to go through with motherhood. So I love the story. I think this will absolutely resonate with a lot of our female entrepreneurs in our audience. So thank you. And Vanessa, the next question here, you have a strong background in product management and design, as well as in leveraging AI for process improvement. How have you integrated this expertise into Leva's platform to enhance the support system for mothers?
Yeah, product management I always say it's the best job you can have. And I really feel that way. I'm very passionate about it because if you do it right, if you have the bandwidth to do it right, you're really building something that people need and that they want. So product management and design really focus on understanding your user deeply, doing research with them, in a best case scenario, co-designing with them. So you're actually solving the problem together. And I've applied a lot of that at Leva. So everything that we've built has been from a place of understanding our users through surveys, through usability testing, which means they're actually interacting with different concepts before you code anything. And we're constantly iterating based on feedback that we're getting. So when we started, we had a website, and then we were hearing from moms they wanted solutions on the go. So we built an app, and we wanted to make sure that it was something they could use and enter information and find information with one hand, because that was also something we heard in usability because they're carrying their baby, they're doing something else. So we really focus a lot on the discipline of product management and user experience design and what we build. And we're actually in the process right now of building a bunch of new features based on feedback that we've gotten. So we're building support for non-birthing parents and fathers, and we're building a community. All of this will happen this year. So we've gone back to that kind of process of understanding empathy and co-design to bring this to life, which is really fun. On the AI side, we have very kind of the most basic AI right now, which is reactive AI in our product. So you can think of that as being similar to Amazon or Netflix recommendations, where you provide an input and then there's a predictable output based on what the user tells you or what they do. So we have a lot of that built into the app based on how old the baby is, how far along in the pregnancy the mother is. The mother will receive different types of information depending on what she tells us is happening with her baby's diapers or her baby's milestones, how they're doing. Then we'll give her different information or different prompts based on that. And we have quite a bit of things in the works right now that'll even take that further and make it more fun and engaging. So I'm really excited about it. And then down the road, we have a lot of ideas of what we'll be able to do more on the machine learning side around how to optimize pumping schedules, breastfeeding schedules, nutrition, all around the data that we're collecting. So, and all in the service of really helping new parents. So I'm really excited about the future of where we're going with it as well.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And a couple items I would just touch on is the fact that, you're focused on the customer experience and how we can provide a better experience with obviously childcare, regardless if you're one of the two parents typically that raise children these days. So I appreciate the feedback. It gives more time, hopefully, back to the parents. You and I growing up, sometimes it was difficult when both parents had to work. So I know you're trying to make that a lot easier for everybody. And the fact that you're leveraging AI to enhance that experience is awesome. So thank you. We love to dive into tech here on the podcast about that. So Vanessa, before founding Leva, you played a senior leadership roles in the insurance tech startup, H&R Block, and USAA. How have your experiences in these roles influenced your approach to leading Leva and shaping its mission?
Yeah, great question. I'll say the direct work has been truly my knowledge about product management and how to work with users and how to do research has been what I've taken with me very heavily. I think this shaping its mission, it's been really, I think USAA is one of the best as far as mission-driven companies and seeing what they stand for. You never have to question it because it's literally in front of you all the time. If you walk into USAA headquarters, you see the mission, you see the values plastered all over the building. And then it's also on your desktop background. Every single meeting starts with the mission. It's a beautiful thing. So you're always aware of how the work you're doing ties back to that. And when I started Leva, the very first thing I did was write out a paragraph of what we stand for and where we want to go. And then just a couple of months ago, we did an exercise. Me and my partner and one of our senior team members did an exercise where we defined our values because we hadn't done that. And it was very heartwarming, but also interesting to do because it allowed us to make sure the work we're doing aligns with the values that we say we have and understand where some of the things that we're doing are maybe off track, or maybe we're working with partners that don't align with those values. So we've been able to use that as a great guidepost to get centered again.
Thank you. And I think that's so important that we all understand, when we work together with people we work with for most of our lives, right, in the work space, is to understand each other's values and how they operate and some of those behavioral differences we have so we can embrace each other's different perspective as we work together through the day. So thank you. And lastly, Vanessa, for individuals looking to make a positive impact through entrepreneurship, especially in areas requiring innovative thinking and a challenge to the status quo, what advice would you offer and how can they prepare for the challenges ahead?
Yeah, there's so many, so much advice and so many challenges. I think I would, if I could do this all over again, I would probably take a step back and really, I thought long and hard about what I wanted to do. And I put together a 10-year roadmap before I started it, but maybe even just spend a bit more time researching other people's perspectives, experts in the space. There was so much I didn't know. And I think there's no way around that. Like when you start a company, there's so much that you don't know and you're going to learn it along the way. And it's very, very challenging. I think one thing that I've learned is that success can come in a lot of different ways and revenue can come in a lot of different ways. And there are aspects to our business that are generating revenue direct to consumer. There are aspects that are generating revenue from businesses. And I think down the line, there are opportunities for grants and things like that. So really kind of keeping a wide enough perspective that when opportunity comes, you're open to it and you don't shut it out. But also to your point earlier about the mission, being so focused on the mission that you don't get derailed. Because I've had many, many conversations with folks that have suggested that we take our company in a different direction or that we add different things onto it, like fertility treatments and menopause treatments. A lot of folks have expressed interest in those things. And I think they're fantastic options. And there are companies out there that are doing them great. Right now, that's not our focus. Maybe years down the road, it will add that. But I think if you try to do too much at once, it just becomes impossible to be successful. So that's one thing. And then the challenge is before you start a company, I would say make sure that you have a really solid support system in place and that they're open to hearing you talk about your company all the time. And I say that because you can have the best days and you can have the worst days, and those days can be the same day. And I have them all the time. And so having a support system, I have a sister, a husband, friends that I can call up, that I can sit down with, that I can talk to about the feelings I have being an entrepreneur, and that really helped me get through those difficult, challenging moments and enjoy the good times together.
Thank you so much. Appreciate you sharing that. Some great advice. I love extracting the gems out of these podcasts, and you absolutely had some great ones today, Vanessa. Vanessa, you're welcome. I just want to let you know it was such a pleasure having you on today, and I look forward to speaking with you real soon.
Thank you.
Bye for now.